Models of ions, cut and paste activity, making molecules. This is the sheet that you're printing for doing this activity that is supposed to be done at home. And because of that, I'm going to add to the directions in this video. First, let's look at the various sheets that you have. There's only two, and this is page 1, and this represents page 2. And you have directions in each of the places there. What I have done now is cut things up a little bit, and the directions that were at the top of the first page are in the box on the right, and the things that you're cutting out are to the left. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your scissors and literally cut all of these squares apart and use them as ions, physically use them as ions. And let's look at the second page. This is supposed to be examples of the formulas. And the formulas are given to you like right here. Let's use the arrow now. Right here you've got the formula for aluminum bromide. That's Al, 1 aluminum, and the subscript 3 means 3 bromides. Here we have 2 sodium ions and 1 oxygen. Here we have 1 iron and 1 sulfur. Here we have 1 aluminum and 3 nitrates. This subscript does not mean the nitrate, it's only the oxygens within the nitrate ion. Here we have 2 potassiums and 1 sulfate, 1 iron, 3 chlorides, 2 ammonium ions, and 1 sulfur ion, 1 magnesium, 1 oxygen, 1 magnesium, and 1 sulfate, 1 iron, 1 phosphate, iron, sodium, and phosphate ions. There's actually 3 of them there. And that's the various things that you have to work with, and their corresponding names right here. These 2 columns are examples of what those ions would be written like if we were just writing them. So this is an example page to show you what you're going to need as you do what you're supposed to do for this activity. Right here we have examples of literally how the page should look. So right now I'm going to draw a box around the first entry that you're going to have. If these were the ions that you're going to be using, these are the right ions, but not the formula, any of the formulas that you've been asked to do. What I just boxed out right here, okay, this blue box right here is how the thing is going to look when you put it all together, and I'm going to show you putting that together in just a moment. Next we'll move to the next example. Now again, this example is to show you what a second entry would look like. This is not a molecule that you're asked to make, but an example, because I'm not going to do your stuff for you. So I will show you how to put these 2 examples together on a side-by-side page view, and we'll be able to see exactly what you're doing with these little sheets of paper that are representing ions. Now with the side-by-side view, where we left off with on this page over here, see I'm moving the arrow on the page I'm referring to. So what we've just done on this page is going to be translated over on this page over here by how you'll actually cut the things out to make stuff. So your first job is to cut all these guys out, which I'm not going to do all of the cutouts. I am just going to cut out the ones that I need to build the formulas that you see over here. Okay? So let's get started by getting rid of this box right here so it's not confusing you. And we're just going to build these 2 things from what we have over on this side. So our first job is to make aluminum phosphate. So I have copied that, and I'm going to make it down here. So I've moved my formula for aluminum phosphate down here. Now I'm going to need an aluminum box, so I'm going to pull that guy down here, cut it out and put it right down there. Then I'm also going to need a phosphate box. So we're going to put that guy right there. And now we have put together the ionic molecule, aluminum phosphate. One aluminum, here's the aluminum phosphate. It has one aluminum and one phosphate ion. And now we're going to name it because that's part of the assignment. And now we have the same thing here that you saw over here. Whoops, let's pull that guy, there we go. So we have the aluminum and the phosphate. Here's the aluminum ion and the phosphate ion with their appropriate charges. And here is the aluminum phosphate, the actual name for it. Now, going back over to the right-hand page, we're going to make the second one. Here we go. We need magnesium phosphate. Magnesium phosphate has 3 magnesiums here, as you can see by the subscript for the magnesium. And it has 2 phosphates, as you can see by the 2 subscript here. So now what we have to do is go up and pick out a, let's see, we're going to need 3 magnesiums, and the magnesiums are up here. So I'm going to need 1, 2, and because this is a molecule that you're not making, I actually made something that you don't have enough magnesiums for. So I'm going to do a bad thing here, and I'm just going to copy this guy and paste him, and that's going to give me 1 additional magnesium, so I have the right number of magnesiums for this molecule. And now off to the right, we're going to have to name this thing. So as you can see now, I have 3 magnesiums, 1, 2, 3, and I'm now going to have to get my 2 phosphates. Now again, with phosphate, because I used one of the phosphates already up here, and I'm going to need a couple more, what I'm going to do is pull the first phosphate. This is, if I were doing this for real, I'd be running out of stuff. But this is not what you've been asked to do, so I did a slightly different example molecule. And I'm going to need, because of this subscript right here, I'm going to need 2 of these guys. So again, I'm going to copy paste him. And as you can see, I have magically made another phosphate here. So I'm now going to make this phosphate here. And now I have my 2 phosphates, which is what is indicated by this subscript. And now I pull down the name. And what you're going to have to do, instead of pulling these names down and pulling down the formulas, I want you to write them by hand. And so you'll write those in on the left and then on the right. And now, if I were doing this assignment and these 2 molecules were supposed to be on the assignment, and where is the assignment? Let's go back, and you see your 1 page there that this stuff was on. Okay, all of this, whoops, didn't want to move that. I wanted to move this little arrow. So the place that this is on and the place that this is on is all the same page in your original printout. But this is your actual model of what you're supposed to do. So you have aluminum bromide, aluminum bromide. Aluminum bromide is 1 aluminum, 3 bromines. And so for you will have plenty of aluminum. You'll have all the aluminum you need, that sits right here, and you will have all the bromide you need, and the bromines are sitting right across here. So this is your original before you cut it apart. I hope this helps to make it easy for you to do, and I'm sorry it took so long, but I wanted to describe it completely, and you should be able to put this whole thing together very quickly on your own. I wish you the best of luck, and thank you for watching.